Hello again everyone, my name is Xander Fabiano from ICTV, and now we're going to talk about Chapter 3 of your research paper and what's inside the Chapter 3.
What is research design? Research design is the overall plan or structure of the study. It explains how the researcher approached the problem and what method was used to gather and analyze the data. For example, if the study aims to measure the relationship between two variables, a quantitative design like descriptive or correlational might be used. If the study focuses on understanding experience or opinions, a qualitative design such as a case study or interview method may be appropriate. This section helps the reader understand the purpose and direction of the research.
So basically, the research design is the blueprint of your study, either you're using quantitative or qualitative study or mixed studies.
There are 4 types of research design. Number 1 is descriptive research design. This design focuses on describing the characteristics of a population or phenomenon without trying to change or influence it. Correlation research design. This design examines the relationship between two or more variables to see if they are related. It does not prove cause and effect, but it helps identify the patterns. Experimental research design. This design is used to determine cause and effect relationship by manipulating one variable, which is the independent variable, and observing its effect on the other variable, which is the dependent variable, while controlling other factors. In this design, participants are usually divided into groups such as experimental group and the control group. Quasi-experimental design. Similar to experimental but lacks random assignment. For example, comparing the grades of two existing classes, one using the new method and the other is not. Population sampling. This section describes the group of people involved in the study and how participants were selected. It states who the target participants are, such as students, teachers, or parents, and how many were included in the research. It also explains the sampling technique used, like random sampling, which means participants are chosen by chance, or purposive sampling, which means specific individuals chosen for a reason. This part is important because it shows how the researchers made sure that the data gathered would be valid and reliable.
So not everybody in this world will be part of your study. This part you explain how you choose your participants. Was it random sampling, purposive sampling, or convenience sampling?
Research setting. Research setting refers to the specific place where the study was conducted. This could be a school, community, barangay, or a city. Including this part helps the reader understand the setting and the environment of the research, which may affect the results. For example, a study was conducted in a public school might yield a different outcomes than one done in private institution. Describing the setting also gives context and relevance to the findings.
Population. Here you talk about where your research will happen and who your participants are.
Research instrument. This section explains the tools or materials used to collect data. The common instruments include survey, questionnaires, interview guides, or observational checklists. The instrument must be carefully designed to gather the right data for the study. This part also discusses how the tool was created and sometimes how it was validated, meaning it was checked if it's accurate and reliable. A good instrument ensures that the answer from the participants truly reflect what the researcher wants to find out.
So these are the tools in collecting your data. Is it survey, interviews, or open-minded questions?
Data gathering procedure. In this part, the researcher explains the step-by-step on how the data was collected. It starts from preparing the research materials, getting permissions if needed, distributing the instruments such as giving out surveys, and finally collecting the responses. If the data was gathered online or face-to-face, that should also be mentioned. This section helps show that the study followed a clear and organized process and that ethical considerations like consent were followed. Statistical treatment of the data. This section explains how the researcher analyzed the data that was collected. For quantitative research, it includes the specific statistical tools or formula used such as frequency, percentage, mean, or standard deviation. For qualitative data, it may explain how the responses were categorized or interpreted. This part is essential because it shows how the raw data was transformed into meaningful findings and how the researcher arrived at the conclusion.
This part of your chapter 3 is once you get all the results, you will explain how you make the raw information into meaningful results. So that's it everyone, now you know what is inside the chapter 3 of your research paper. So let's see you on the next video.